Coming through.
Okay, that part's recorded, and then I get to go back to my slides over here, but I gotta get rid of that little weirdo button there. And technology, so much fun. So if you guys saw behind the scenes here, we don't have the cameras on this time, but so I've got 3 computer monitors plus my phone that I use to be able to manage these webinars. It's kind of fun. We had a big celebration party for Ron coached the soccer team of our 11-year-olds, and they had all the kids over here, and one of the kids looked in my office and he's like, "Are you a YouTube star? What do you have all this stuff for?"
We're YouTube famous.
It's funny that the 11-year-olds think that that's the extent of the internet, is being YouTube famous.
I'm YouTube famous.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us here today. I'm Mandy White Pearl, and I've got Ron here with me. And we are the authors of the book Expand Your Impact with LinkedIn. But today we're going to be talking about how to expand your impact and your income, creating your own transformational system. And for me, this was how the creating a transformational system, and actually now that I have over 40 magic bullets that I've created over the years, probably even more than that, setting up systems is exactly how I've gone from, in the very beginning of my business, being the creator of freesocialmediahelp.com and not making a whole lot of money doing that, to really working with people now in a very transformative way. I do a lot of work with people, helping them get clients and speaking gigs from LinkedIn. And those high ticket, high touch, high transformation clients are out there on LinkedIn. And so this is a portion of that. Now, whether you find your clients from speaking gigs or networking or Facebook, it really doesn't matter. There are high ticket transformational clients out there for you. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to make sure we got to keep everybody muted here when they get on the line. So if you want to, I would ask that you take the next 90 minutes is probably how long we'll be together. I want to make sure that you give me your undivided attention, because I'm going to teach you some stuff that is hopefully just going to change your life. And hopefully it's going to change the lives of every single person you work with from now on. Because if you're able to really set yourself up to change people's lives, then how does it get any better than that, right? So if you have the only things I'm going to let you work on is if you hear something that's amazing or life-changing, game-changing for you, if you use the hashtag expand your impact, then I can reward you for that social share when we go after the webinar and take a look at that. So if you want to use the hashtag expand your impact, then I can know, whether it's on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, that you are sharing what you have heard from us today. So thank you so much for that. You got any starting words?
Sure. So as part of our coaching practice, we are often working with practitioners. Sometimes it's woo-woo, sometimes it's a chiropractor. More recently, we've had someone who was in the nutrition field. And a typical way that a coach gets started is they work out an hourly arrangement. I come and do my voodoo, and I get some money for it.
Yep.
Right. And I go and look at what the other voodoo people are doing, and I kind of figure out what my voodoo's worth, and I, get somebody to give me, some money, and I get a practice going, and, then I join the other coach group that does that, or I join a networking community that does that, and I get some people that like my voodoo, and I start to feel like, I can do this. Like, I can make money. I'm good at it. I can figure it out. And then by becoming a coach with you, and having the experience of seeing other people go through a transformational program, I've seen the impact that it can have on somebody's practice, but also on their mindset, ultimately on the life and the lives of all the other people that they're able to touch. So today, one of the things that we wanted to work through is how to take what is a healing practice or any particular service modality, right, and be able to work that into a program that is designed around you and your brand and your uniqueness, and then be able to espouse the value of that in a simple, easy way that helps you sell it to someone in the elevator, right? To create easy sales conversations, to create a memorable experience for your prospects. So when they see you, they recognize what's going on. But ultimately what it is, it's going to focus, instead of on your voodoo, it's going to focus on your outcome and on your impact. It's going to be about your prospect and about their life and what's going to happen for them. And by walking through that, you can tell I'm pretty excited about it.
And so we had a webinar we did last week about owning and understanding your value. And Ron mentioned, the typical way most people go about pricing is they just say, well, what's the going rate out there? And usually that rate is not enough to live on or live a great life on. And very soon you start to calculate, okay, I need to work X amount of hours to make this amount of income. And you soon realize that there's no possible way to make multiple six figures if you continue having to work with more clients. And really your capacity as an entrepreneur, you can't really work with clients more than about 20 hours a week, because you need that extra 20 hours a week to be working on your business and to be focused on the marketing and the networking and the speaking and stuff like that.
And the laying around on the beach.
And the taking care of yourself, because that's important too. So this webinar today, if you guys want a copy and you missed the recording from last week's webinar about value, and we just talked about pricing based on what would feel joyful to receive. This webinar came out of that because people got done with like, oh, I'd love to charge $10,000 to have people work with me. And then they found themselves, some of them went off and just told the next client that rate and got laughed at, or who are you to charge that much, right? And so we wanted to put together, this is a program I did years ago, and it's something I take for granted that people know how to do. And recently we've been working with a lot of new clients in helping them to create these transformational packages and the way they put their stuff together. And it really hit me that what I'm helping them to do is to feel good about that 10,000. And we've got a client we'll tell you about later. Her name's Marcela. And Marcela, I remember the first time we had her put together a $10,000 program, and she's like, oh, I just can't do that. Nobody will pay that. They're used to paying me hourly.
And what was amazing about it is that Marcela comes from a background of money.
Yeah.
Right?
She lives in a very affluent part of town.
And she's used to dealing with people that have money, but there was something about the conversation where she got locked in a mindset about this is what I am worth when I'm in that capacity. And what your real gift was is just sort of strong-arming her and shoving her through and saying, no, this is how you do it for real.
Right.
Right?
So we want to get to the place today about how do you feel good about charging more. Some of it's going to be mindset for you, but a lot of it's going to be how we put things together in such a way that when somebody looks at all the things they're going to get, they can't just look at it and go, oh, that's $500 an hour. Are you crazy? Right? And they also don't just get themselves set up to fail, which is what traditionally what happens. So what I see people doing if they want to charge more is they'll just increase their rate, or they'll say, you know what, if you buy a package, meaning if you have 10 sessions, right, I'll give you a discount in prices, okay? And I'm really not a fan of that at all. And number-wise, if you guys took us up on the offer, when you guys opted in for this webinar, we gave you the option to take advantage of a discount on the Expand Your Income playbook. In that playbook, it walks you through how much money do you need to be charging on an hourly basis based on how much money you want to make, how much money you need to make. Most of the time you guys cut yourself short and think, oh, I just want six figures. Really, you're wanting six figures to go home with you, not counting for that you need a business coach, you need money for marketing and money for an assistant.
You might need some office supplies, some pencils, some advertising. Right. Get on a plane or two.
So really that six-figure business needs to be like $250.
Yeah.
Right? And so then you've got to look at, well, how many hours do I actually need to be seeing clients, how many billable hours? And at that point, you start to get to a number that most people freak out at. Because they're like, oh my God, I could never charge $500 an hour.
Well, I remember the first time that it started to occur to me to go through that math, and that's in our journey of me becoming more acclimated to your mastery of this business is when we sat with David Nagel and him running through and giving you the idea that to make $1 million, all you have to do is to make, it's approximately $1,300 in the morning and $1,300 in the afternoon. And if you can just do that, right, then you can make $1 million. Mm-hmm. And his purpose in bringing that up outside of getting you into the math of what was going on was to do something called chunking, which is to take this giant thing that just this big abstraction that people have a hard time getting their mind around and breaking it down into something that's achievable, believable, that they've done before. Because let's face it, everybody's made $1,300. Everybody can understand what that is, right? So what we're hoping to do today is to provide you some mechanics, right? Some blueprints, some experience, some great stories, right? To get you acclimated to a program that can be, you know, your identity, your program, your entity in the world to, like, you know, produce your voodoo and create that impact.
And most of you have a lot of different modalities that you have and that you use in working with people. So in creating something that's transformational, and we'll talk through what that looks like, I want you to really sit with, what is it going to take to move this person who would be an ideal client? And there's somebody who you've talked to recently that you need to bring to mind in this scenario, is what changes, who do they need to be, what do they need to do different in order to get them from where they are now to the change, the other place, the destination, where they want to be. And if you think through, it's not just a coaching session or 2. It's really probably 10 coaching sessions and maybe an immersion experience and maybe some mindset audios that they listen to at night or, in the morning to psych themselves up. Like, there's all kinds of things that we can add to support the person in truly transforming. And what this also does too is it makes sure that they don't judge for themselves of what they need. Because if you let the client decide what they need, it's kind of like I found the other day that the children's toothbrushes had not been moved in days and that the pump soap in the bathroom hadn't been used. If I leave the hygiene up to my children, boys, nobody's washing their hands or brushing their teeth, right? But as a parent, as a coach, you've got to be the one who says, this is how it's going to be.
This is the requirement.
Yeah.
In order to make that change, in order to get that done, right, in my experience, this is based on what it is. The other things you can add are videos, tutorials, resources, reference, guidelines, checklists.
Yeah, so
right?
we're going to jump
all
in
that,
and show.
Right, all sort of stuff. And so when you get through the webinar with us, at the end of the webinar, we're going to give you a document that gives you a bunch of examples of other clients and what their transformational programs have looked like. And the beauty of this is you can see examples where here is here's a psychiatrist, here's a yoga instructor, here's a nutritionist, but that's not how they appear in the transformational program. Then that gives them the aura of authority. It gives them the outward experience of being an expert, right? And when you put this in front of somebody, it looks like you've done it before. It looks like this is just the normal. Just like at a restaurant, they give you a menu, right? And this is what we cook. You don't just walk up and go, can I have some beans and rice? And then you have to tell them, well, we really like to do French stuff and we want to do this exotic thing and we'd like to charge you a lot of money, right? The menu, right, sort of determines the course of that experience, right? So in creating your menu and your guidelines and your signature hero program, right, it works wonders both in the marketing and in the messaging of your client before they show up. And then when you're in the conversation with them, right, in the discovery session, right, it gives you a chance to walk through it. And it, as you had taught me, how one of the ways that Mandy was able to work with someone is for them to lay out the things that they want to accomplish. And for each thing that they want to accomplish, it sort of leaves, well, that's one or maybe two or maybe three coaching sessions in order for them to accomplish that, depending on what that thing is.
Yeah.
And so as you go through this program with us, you're going to see how this gives you a brand. It gives you a differentiation in the market. It gives you a sales tool. It gives you all these, subsequent benefits that you're going to only appreciate once you get it in motion and action. Because honestly, the next couple of pieces of this might be a little uncomfortable because you're going to have to look yourself in the mirror and realize like you're worth $1 million and you've been treating yourself like you're worth 100. And you're going to have to get through those mind games, right, in order to get to that next level.
So one piece of homework, and I didn't make a slide for this, this is totally off the cuff at this point, but one of the homework pieces that I do with clients is I make them write a list of every program they've invested in to get themselves here, right? Every certification they've done, every life lesson they've had. You know, Ron and I have
so excuse me. Everybody give us an example of some other program that you've bought in the last 3 months in the chat, please. I need an example of some widget, some bullshit, some guru, some trip. Give us something you have bought in the chat, please.
Yeah. So like both Ron and I have been through divorces. So that experience, one could totally throw to the side and say, oh, a business coach doesn't need to know anything about that. But if I value that experience in my own life, when an entrepreneur comes to me and she's struggling with her spouse or having to have conversations about money with her spouse, it's a conversation that I have experience in because of my own life, right? So what are all the things that you've spent money on, you've invested in yourself, in
things
time,
that have happened to you?
Yeah, experience, cancer.
Come on, guys, let's see some more action in the chat.
What is that you've done? And add that up. And so then when you're looking at saying this is what's required to change somebody's life, then you're looking back at like, yeah, this is all the stuff I had to do to get to this place, or this was all the lessons I had to learn. This was all the money. And so therefore, when I tell you it's $500 an hour, it's because you're getting the download of all of that life experience and all of that knowledge. Most of you guys suck in so much knowledge that people are paying you to be told what to do faster than it took you to get there.
And so as an example, Mandy and I both have master's degrees in business. I don't think you guys give a shit about that.
No.
Right? It's relevant to us being here, and it's helped us structure our mind around sort of mainstream marketing stuff. Right, but we're also both access practitioners. We're both well-read in lots of other disciplines. We both do energy work, right? We have lots of other things that we bring to the table. And so when you come to us, we're assessing you like energetically. We're assessing you in your personality. We're looking at your knowledge and understanding of the internet and how much technical background you have, whether or not you can speak in front of somebody and make sense, whether or not you're emotionally balanced, right? Are you clear? Are you fun to be around? Like, these are all the ways that we're doing it because that's all of our background and what we're doing. And if you are showing up to the world cranky, right, we actually might say, you need to not show up cranky, and then like all these other programs will go away. And it's not actually anything to do with other times. It's that one of the best compliments someone paid you is that you're one of the few people that might do an energy shift and follow it up with a grammar comment, right, in the same moment, right?
Yeah. So let's go through what the basics are. I told you I would teach you 4 elements to creating, and I call them hero offers, right? And so watch what's being done to you as we do it, right? So I have a system. It's a 4-step system, and it's about helping you and the client co-create that experience of having them be a hero in their own life, okay? So notice how I do this as I'm teaching you this, because it gives you some space in your brain to say there's a logical step and there's I'm missing this piece or I'm missing that piece. And then when you move into supporting someone, they can easily see what they need to do next. So the first step is to make this, you want this package to be high priced. Now, if you've never received $1,000 from somebody before, that could be high priced. Okay, I'm totally okay and open to that. And you will see some of the examples that we show you later that, you know, if you're used to getting paid $50 an hour, then to have someone, to have you say, yes, the program's $9.97, it's a big ass deal. It's a big deal.
It's a shift.
Right? Good price points to me though is $1,000, $3,000, $6,000, $10,000, 20, 30, 40, 50,000, like that. So high priced can be, I challenge all of my clients to create $100,000 programs, you know, because my coach challenged me, if you don't dream about receiving $100,000, then you're actually never going to have anybody do that, right? And I have a fun set of videos on YouTube that show you how I created that $100,000 client for myself and continue to create that. So it needs to be high priced. You need to enhance the value. Step number 2 is to enhance the value. And that means things like, if you do one-on-one coaching with somebody, can you get all your clients together for a call where you teach something and you let them interact with each other? Masterminding together is really important. Letting them know they're not alone. Can you set up networking events for them? Can you create a Facebook group for them to interact with one another? Can you create audios or use public PLR, which is private label right content, that you rebrand to your flavor and share with them so that they have homework to be working on in between the coaching sessions with you? Can you give them a book or a manual or an infographic or something like that? But you've got to have something. It is not a hero program if all you do is say, yes, that's 10 sessions for $9.97. That's not enhanced value. Enhanced value means there's got to be at least 3 things they're getting in addition to the coaching work with you.
So that can be a Facebook community.
Yep.
Right? That can be, in some cases, there might be some done for you aspect, templates, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guidelines, checklists,
and we'll show you all
resource videos, right? Any of your voodoo has some underlying content behind it, and you're just looking to give them a digested value proposition. Typically, it's around the concepts, right, or the implementation guidelines. You're either reminding them of the detailed execution instructions, or you're reminding them of the overriding concepts with which they'll be moving forward in your modality.
Right. And nobody can tell me that they don't have content, because there's content out there. I can go out and I can buy content that other people have written and rebrand it to you. So if you don't know how that works, then we need to have a conversation, because I can go out and get in any industry, in any field, we can go get you content. Content's not the problem.
Is everybody following us so far? Can we get a 1 in the chat? If you have any questions, can you raise your hand? Everybody good?
So we got one more person coming in here. We gotta get him muted. All right, cool. So from there, the third step, thank you, Victoria, for being participatory today. The third step is responsibility needs to be shared. This really is where the co-creation process happens, right? It's you being the expert saying this is what's required to get there, but you also have to set yourself up so that the client has to do some things too, right? So that there's some homework that the client has to do, or there's some hoops that they have to jump through, right? You want to share that responsibility so that you really do. I know every single one of you in working with clients, you get a little clearer every time you talk to them about what they want. And as we learn more of what we don't want, we get clear of what is new that we wanted, that we had no idea that we even wanted. So sharing the responsibility is a process where you can set yourself up to say, you know what, if you need more help in this area, then we can add on some additional coaching, or we can add on this other piece of support, or hey, just the other day, Victoria did this. So Victoria is a private client of mine working on getting clients from LinkedIn. And she just the other day asked, she's like, oh, I'd like to create $10,000 programs. So I was able to just reach in my bag of tricks and say, no problem, I'll give you this $300 program just because you're a client of mine. And it allowed her to have some responsibility in jumping into that content and going through the content. And then she could come back to me with questions. And so it didn't take an extra of 10 coaching sessions. I already had that material there for them to take advantage of.
So because she was willing to do the work, right, she was able to rapidly advance through the material and then come to you with questions that were authored from a perspective with context.
Yep.
Right? In a lot of your material, there's a handout or guidelines or brainstorming, and you have to push yourself through that so that you can get all your mind shit out on the table so we can sort through it, right? So the part of me that stands out with responsibility shared is, right, I come from a sports background. The coaches don't kick the ball,
Yep.
right? The coaches aren't responsible for what happens on the field by themselves, right? The players in the game, right, have to do their part. They have to show up and they have to give it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So responsibility shared is, for me, it's never like, oh, that didn't work because the coach,
Yeah.
right?
And this also will help you later on if your programs are, hero based. If you have the responsibility shared aspect thought up as you go, when a client comes to you 6 months down the road and hasn't produced the result that they wanted, then you can look back very easily and show, well, hold on a second. I had this resource for you and you didn't use it. I had this resource available and you didn't do it. Do you see that if you had done those things, we could be further along in the result that we're looking for?
Mm-hmm.
And that makes them take ownership of the process. And nobody ever gets to come to me and say, your program didn't work. Well, my program works if you do the work.
Yeah, it's a little like the weights at the gym don't lift themselves.
I wish they did. Still working on my telepathy and telepathy to make that happen. All right, the fourth step here is outcome oriented, and this is where most of you screw this one up. Okay, I don't care, and neither do your clients, that you're a life coach, that you're an executive coach, that you're a recruiter, that you're a widget blower maker thing. Nobody cares about the modality. Never, ever.
And when they do, they're lying.
When they do, they tend to be price shopping. And you don't ever want to sit yourself in a situation where they're just looking for a Reiki practitioner and they're calling 10 around town to find out who's the cheapest or who can get them in now. That is not a client who is going to help co-create an awesome outcome. So think about what is... I've done this with my stuff. Over the years, I thought Free Social Media Help was a great brand. I thought Magic Bullet programs I created was a great brand, but it didn't create that outcome, right? Expand your impact, expand your income. It talks about the outcome that is everything that I'm up to with people. That's exactly, people know that. And how do we do that? Well, it could have a zillion ways. I could, set you up and build a website for you. Ron could do some SEO for you. You could spend their whole sessions with me getting your bars run or doing access clearings because your mindset's messed up and you've got to do that. So having it be outcome oriented allows you to combine all of the crazy that you do and not have to. I remember a client who, she did like Reiki and she did nutritional coaching and something else. And she had a different price per hour for each of those different modalities. It was like the epitome of, well, a nutrition hour with me is 50 and a coaching session with me is 75. Honey, like the time is the time. And if somebody is going to, we had her pick out, you want to work with busy professional women who, are dealing with a health issue or something like that. Put together something that will support them in getting that transformation they want, instead of letting them decide what it is.
When you see the examples with acronyms and, with the word choices, it is very benefit focused. It's very focused on the what they are going to receive. So in one example, you mentioned Marcela. Marcela's was recorded in the material because on one of the original times that you were creating this course, it was a group phone call, and Marcela is closing someone on her first $10,000 call, like on the break, and you happen to hear that in the recording, right? So as we started to work with Marcela, since that was the example we're bringing up, Marcela realized that part of what she does is shopping with the client. And part of what she does is cleaning out their closet, right? And part of what she does is teaching them, look, don't wear that anymore, right? Don't put these two things together. Part of what she does is color analysis, which is relying on her science. And part of it is just being a girlfriend, right? Somebody that you can sort of hang out with, right? So how does Marcela price that and provide her time and then working into a transformation is she has to think through what elements this client needs.
Yeah.
Right?
So let's talk about the money of it. So before we get into examples, saying that if you want to create a $10,000 program, And for me, the reason I go with this is my easiest way was I wanted 10 clients at $10,000 to know that I was having a 6-figure income stream coming in, right? And that to me was, if somebody pays 10,000 in a chunk, wow, how awesome is it to get that check or run that credit card, right? But if they make payments, then they're paying $1,000 a month. And if you have 10 of those, right, then you have $10,000 coming in every month. It's a lot easier to budget your life and your expenses when you have consistent money coming in. Okay, so if you think $10,000 is too much, here's what that kind of looks like. $10,000 is really $833 a month. Now, if somebody's working with you 4 times a month, that's only $208 like a session. Okay, so for those of you out there charging, 50, 100, 150 a session, you're not too far off if somebody's going to interact with you or needs to interact with you for every week for the course of the year in order to get that transformation.
And I happen to know that some of you guys on the call are interested in this amount of money over less time, right? You're trying to make the transformation because of the voodoo that you do. You want the transformations to be within 3 months or 6 months, and that is still viable. The $10,000 number is still there, because what I want you to understand is the only reason Mandy's pulling up these numbers is you have a hard time uttering the $10,000 number, right? But you're okay with the $200 number. This is an example of the chunking that I was speaking about at the beginning. Right. So you can still get, $10,000 for a 3-month engagement, right? It doesn't require you to be at 12 months, right? We have another client that is wildly successful, and her programs are 3 years long, right? Because that's the nature of the pace that she likes to work at, right?
Right. All right. So you ready to see some examples here? Okay. So we've been talking about Marcela. So first thing we had Marcela do so let's back this up. Marcela came to us as an image stylist, and she could do colors. She could or tell you what colors to wear. She would clean your closet. She would go shopping for you. She would put makeup on you, help you know what kind of makeup to wear.
And it was a series of services.
Correct. And she just had all this menu of services, and each one was a different price. And so what we sat down with her and said is, based on she loved to speak. So I said, okay, who can we have you speak in front of that would pay $10,000 to spend a year working with you and have that $10,000 be an absolute no-brainer? And we focused for her on speakers, that if she could help a speaker show up visually, right, and know exactly what they needed to wear for each speaking gig, know exactly what colors would help them sell more on stage or look better, that if she could prove that she could make them more money by the way they looked, that spending $10,000 to make 10 or 20 or 100 would be a no-brainer. So we sat down with that in mind, and this is, you're mixing person and problem and program. You're just trying to figure out that right combination so that it is a no-brainer. And some of you need to ditch the people you're looking for. And throughout the entire year of working with Marcela, she kept saying, well, this group of ladies wants to have me over for a makeup party. Can I do that? And I always had to have her go back to, are the women in the room going to be somebody who can invest $10,000 because they know it's going to bring a return on their investment 10 times? And that helped her decide whether or not she wanted to go do that little spa party just because it was fun, or she needed to say no to that spa party because it really didn't fit the life that she wanted to lead. So, and
let me highlight, that's the advantage of a good coach, because what Mandy was doing is getting her to clarify why she was going to it. Were you going to it to please a friend and to be nice to somebody? Or are you going there as an investment in your business? Right? And understanding why you're doing something and having that sort of context is massive shift.
And really, the only way to work less and make more is to go hang out where there's people, whether it's online or offline, hang out where there's people who have no problem investing. The client I got who made the $100,000 investment, it was not a problem for him to pay that. It was an easy sell. It was an easy, yeah, totally, I want somebody to take care of all that for me. And so, but if I tried to ask, other people, here, I want to do all of this, and I want to get paid this, they would be like, oh my God, I can't do that. That's just too much, right? So with Marcela, we had, okay, with a speaker, what is the exact process you would work through with them? And one of the genius things that I'm very good at doing is taking that outcome-oriented word. So for her, the word is upscale. So you're seeing on the screen the first letter of every phrase, every word. It spells upscale. So her thing was all about upscaling your image. And so the first step for her was to understand the magnitude of their platform, prepare for the performance on and off stage, define their style, choose their colors, attack the closet, learn to shop and love it, and evaluate quarterly.
So I love this approach from her because it required her to get into the head of her prospect. So as an example, understanding the magnitude of your platform is her way of assessing the client's mentality and the client's mindset of who they are and what they're doing and how they're showing up, right? And then the other one, learn to shop and love it, because what she found with the people that she was dealing with is they hated it. They felt uncomfortable. They didn't feel, they had things they would buy and never wear. They had things that they buy and they would be the wrong color, and they just had all this guilt and shame and shit along with it. So Marcela's helping clear their dome, right? That's where working the program helped to come up with the upscale. Now you can see as she would be talking to a client with that upscale in front of her, that's a way for her to assess the client and talk about benefit-driven language.
Yep.
As she's in the messaging, in the marketing early, and I look forward to seeing the other examples.
So when Marcela's having the sales conversation with somebody and she's saying, okay, so, do you really understand how your image makes an impact on how people see you? Do you think that you could be Oprah and still be buying clothes at Walmart? No, right? And as she asks these questions to really determine where somebody's at, she's making little checks and I taught her how to take the sales conversation and make visualize it right on paper. And then when you show somebody, wow, like you're kind of screwed up in these 10 areas, it's going to take us about 10 months or 10 sessions or to get this fixed. And then it's very easy for her to say, okay, so based on that, what you're telling me is this program is going to be $10,000 for a year. Or at the end of the year, Marcela actually got done with, she put a bunch of people through that program. And at the end of it, she's like, there's no way I could charge $10,000 anymore. It really needs to be 20. Right?
And what was amazing about that is she had a visceral emotional reaction to saying $10,000 just to us in the room, right? And another client, Nicole, is crying the first time that she got a payment at the higher rate. She's in tears of overwhelming joy because it proved that it was possible, right? So all the other voices she'd ever heard, whether it was her husband or her dad or her mom or whomever, right? And these are successful people, right? That are going through a new transformation in life, and it's great. So let's go on to the next one.
So upscale seems to be the theme for clients in one phase. But Jamie, when she came to me, was a virtual assistant. But Jamie is super, super, super good at creating systems around increasing people's visibility online. And so what's fun here is, so we took the acronym again, upscale. And I said, so walk me through, if you're working with, she works with speakers, authors, coaches as well. If you're going to help somebody upscale their online presence, what does that look like? And now she gets to talk about, she's not just a virtual assistant where you can pay her $50 an hour to get you Twitter followers, right? She has a coordinated system that helps make that transformation happen. Because, and this is important, it's not when somebody comes to you and says, I want more Twitter followers, you have to ask them, well, why do you want that? Right? Because it's not that she just wants Twitter followers, right? the Twitter followers are supposed to be getting them, well, if I have more Twitter followers, I have more opportunity to get people on a webinar. Okay, why do you want people on a webinar? Well, if I have people on a webinar, then I have the ability to, have them come play in my program. Okay, well, what will that do? Well, that will allow them to get the transfer. So you see how you're asking these questions and helping that person to understand why they really want what they want. And then when you have a system around it, right? And so we're talking in two different ways. This is how she's setting up the process of what she does. And then when Jamie actually delivers it, she goes through those hero steps, right? Of having enhanced value, of having responsibility shared. But starting with a system is key in this process.
It was especially key for her because when you come at someone as a virtual assistant, often the client feels like they're going to direct the activities.
Yes.
Right? And in Jamie's case, she found that initially she was all over the place because the way that a particular client wanted to do their Facebook was slightly different than the way another. And finally, she just erased all that. And she was like, this is how I do it. All right. And I'm not looking for your
And the way I do it
suggestions.
gets results.
Right.
So if you want this result,
right,
we're doing it my way.
Yeah. And,
Okay.
and it helped formalize and script her whole thing. It was a major upgrade for her.
Right. All right. So what I have on the screen now, we kind of moved away from the slides, is because I want to walk you through this example with Kathy. So Kathy has a couple different modalities in her business, and we're really working with her, in a private coaching capacity at integrating all of that, integrating all the parts of her awesomeness. But with Kathy, she came to me and she's like, you know what? I have this side business where I do intuitive readings and I charge, $150 to, $250, depends on the person and, how much I've asked them to pay me, right? And I'm really tired of that. I don't really want to just do sessions anymore. And so I said, okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to write this letter to your clients and invite them into this new possibility. I said, because when you just go off and you give readings, that person is giving all of their power away to you, and they're never getting what they really want in the long term of the situation, right? So what is that? And we talked through that. So I want to just read through this letter. It's only one page, but it'll give you a glimpse of how she went from, okay, clients, I'm going to raise my prices, into creating something that was so irresistible that she had 90% of the people who offered this enrolled in it, and then the 10% who didn't, she was honestly very happy that they didn't enroll. So she sends this email out. I wanted to share some good news and even better news. As many of you know, I've been working on blending my corporate side with my intuitive spiritual side. This has led me to asking questions of how I can really step into serving you as my client in an even more meaningful way. While I love sharing my gift of intuition through intuitive readings, it's come to my awareness that for 2017 and beyond, I must step into a greater leadership role with my clients as I help them create their life by design. I'm being called to invite you to step into activating your own intuition and have created an amazing program to support and you and my other clients in making this transition as smooth and painless as possible. Here's a little bit about how the program works. First, in January, I'll be inviting you to join me for a live online class where I'll teach you the basics of how to tap into your intuition and provide you with home play exercises to practice through the rest of the month. So let me just start. People were coming to her to get her intuition, and she's saying, hold on, I'm going to start to teach you how you can notice your intuition all the time anyway. Throughout the month, I'd love to support you with 2 private 45-minute intuitive readings with the focus of guiding you towards the creation of a more soulful life. I know these sessions are a bit shorter than some of you are used to, but I want to continue to provide my clients with the best service I need that time between clients to regroup and refocus my energies. I truly appreciate your generosity for the creation of this more sacred space. Sounds like fun, right? Like it would really support you in bringing more awareness to using intuition in your everyday life to get you where you want to go faster with clarity, focus, and intention. Then we'll look to repeat this pattern throughout the year. Based on my work with other clients, the soulful activation period takes about 12 months of weekly attention and care. Sound like fun? So here's the big picture overview of what you'll get as a participant in the Soulful Activation Mastermind. It's two sessions per month. They're 24 45-minute sessions, and we put a value on it, right? And so we do the math, we're on 7,200 divided by 45, or divided by 24. 7,200 divided by 24. 12 live 60-minute soulful activation training sessions with a value, MP3 and MP4 recordings of each training session, 12 live 60-minute mastermind calls, and a private Facebook group. And then we add all of that up together, and it's $15,397. And what's the hourly rate?
$300.
$300. Okay. So starting January 1st, I'll be inviting my community to participate in this program, but I'm offering it to you, my loyal clients, for $3,997 pay in full, or 12 payments of $397. You'll also get the following bonuses. We gave them a ticket to her live event, at least 24 affirmation audios, and my Soulful Vision Blueprint. As a pay in full bonus, you'll receive an additional 4 emergency calls valued at $500, which is a total value of $2,000. And that means you can schedule an intuitive reading with me in less than 48 hours. So are you in? You want to talk about it? Click here to schedule a time. And then PS, if you choose not to participate in this transformational program that will really support you in stepping into your power and be the soulful leader you truly are, then your private intuitive session rates with me will be $250 starting January 1st, 2017. On my website and for my new clients, this rate will be $300. So what it allowed her to do was to raise her rate, but for $397 a month, these people are getting 2 sessions and all these other things that really support them in making that change.
So that's a pretty smooth transition, as you see that someone has written out and communicated to their audience. I like that.
Yeah, that's what's fun. We did this in a VIP day. We mapped out the program, we wrote this letter, and did a little bit of coaching on, well, what happens if somebody says they don't want this or that?
And you talked her off of the ledge of offering this for the first time. So guys, just so you understand, I don't know if you guys offer a VIP day, can you put VIP, anybody that offers a VIP experience currently, can you put VIP into the chat right now?
Yeah, and if you don't know what VIP days are, some of other coaches call them deep dives, stuff like that. Let us know what that is too. But for me, they're an accelerated way. So Kathy and I could have spent 5 coaching sessions getting this activity done over the course of 6 weeks, right? But she wanted it done now, right? And so we spent a day together and got this content knocked out, right? Okay, so I want to show you another example here. And we promised that we would share. I'm going to actually share this entire document with you. Let me move it over here to the screen. I'm going to share this entire, it's 150 page. It's actually more than that now. We'll update it before we hand it out to you. But it's samples of people's hero programs, okay? And this particular one here, this was a therapist, same sort of situation. Ken was used to having people come in and pay him, I think, $50 a session. And he worked with addicts who had just finished rehab. And so first thing I'm asking him, what is the outcome that you really want to be providing for people? And he's like, well, when people work with me and they do, what I tell them to do, they don't have to go back into rehab. They don't relapse. So it's like, bingo, there's the name of our program, right? And so then we worked with him in, okay, so how long do you need to work with somebody in order to, make sure that they don't go back into go relapse? And he's like, it's about 6 months. If I work with somebody a year, I can, but 6 months is a good starting point. And then we walk through what are the benefits that somebody is going to get after they've been working with him. They're going to recognize their own signs and symptoms of low self-esteem, build a toolbox full of resources he can rely on to enhance your self-esteem whenever you need, learn some basic skills to restructure my thoughts to increase self-esteem, right? And then we talk about what the person actually gets, the features of it, right? And so that would be 24 private sessions. It's got a $1,800 value. We added in some emergency calls, meaning if somebody's at the bar and they're, wanting to take a drink and they're hiding out in the bathroom, he can accept their phone call.
And that was probably something he had to incorporate anyway, because having clients, he knows that that's going to come up. So he just incorporates that and just identifies that early in the process. He knows they're going to need this.
Right.
Right.
And it's also, it keeps you from, and there's a Get Positive workbook that he created. And Victoria and I were working on hers today. And I talked about, if you provide email support to your clients, add that in as a value. Add that in as if you will text them, or, I text my nutritionist all the time, or my energy healer, like, the kids are doing this, or I've got this weird rash. What is it? Right. And she immediately jumps on supporting me, but I pay for that sort of level of service. And it's also a way for you to, if you find yourself being resentful about it, it's probably something you need to add on with a price, because it takes your time to do it.
All right. So in this example that Mandy's showing you, this is something that Ken would give to his clients if you'd show them the bottom part of that.
Yeah. So after he's going to go through a sales conversation with somebody, and then we did this specifically so that I'll make it smaller, so that it's a 1-page document, right? It's just 1 page, and at the bottom, they can either pay in full or they can make payments.
And he doesn't have to chase down them coming back anymore. If you're doing $50 a session, you got to re-enroll them each time.
Oh.
You have to re-enroll them each time.
What happens if they don't show up?
Right. And now in this case, it's handled all at once. If you miss your slot, it's up to you to make that up in whatever way the policy states. Right. But you're getting that money, you're getting that commitment right at the beginning part of it.
So this one, you guys can swipe. This is simple. Credit card form at the bottom. Boom. And then if you want to Square charge them, go ahead, or PayPal. It doesn't matter. But you have all that information there.
Right. So what Mandy's shown you is with the upscale example, you're seeing an example of in a marketing piece how it might look when someone's going to sign up now. Right. Mandy's giving you an example of a contract.
Yeah, and so when Jamie or Marcela do this, when they're listing these benefits, I'm having them list out, okay, so what is the benefit of utilizing the existing content? What is the benefit of publicizing their posts? What's the benefit of systemizing the marketing process? And so at the end of 6 months, they will have all those benefits, and that is what they're buying. They're not buying 24 sessions at this price, or 5 of these and 2 of those.
They're saying, I don't want to go back to rehab. I'm going to sign this right now because I don't want to go back to rehab.
And that is the way Ken was able to get, and he's raised the price at this point, but that's the way he's able to get $2,000 instead of be looked at as a $50 an hour therapist.
Right. So I know the price points on this are a little bit different, but it's a great example of that particular form and how he's transforming it. So we're going to look at another example now.
So this is Liza, and Liza just has such a beautiful way that she shows all of this. Liza is a movement specialist. She does a lot of yoga with people. She also teaches them how to eat right and have a balanced sort of life, a happy, balanced sort of life. Mm-hmm. And so you guys will see there's a couple examples here.
Can you make that bigger?
I can make it bigger. Yes, sir. So with this particular one, she has her picture on it. She has her little bio, and she names the program. This is the, this is the Sexy, Ripe, and Delicious Life. Okay? It's not a eat right, drop 20 pounds program. I love her names. The Sexy, Ripe, and Delicious Life.
Who wouldn't want a sexy, ripe, and delicious life?
This one is Bikini Bombshell Program. Maybe not you, but
you understand there's a distinguishing factor there. You're getting the idea that that's probably a little more of a workout.
Out of whack and back on track.
Right? That's for the old fat guys like me.
And in each of them, she talks about how long they're going to spend together. This one's a 3-month. and then she talks about what they're going to get, and she does a great job of explaining what that is. So I don't love that she says you're going to get 5 coactive coaching sessions, but she says these coactive coaching sessions get you clear on what's most important to you, why and how to formulate the action steps, and to move forward.
Okay, does anybody see that this would make a value? Can I get a number 1 in the chat if you guys want to receive this document? Can I get a number 1 in the chat if you think this document would be worth looking at? Because there's just example after example after example. There's a lot of great language, a lot of great formatting.
Here she is getting paid $4,000 or $3,000 for 3 months of working with people, and she has these other things that people get that aren't her time, but she's only doing, it's a deep dive day, which is a VIP day, 5 coaching sessions that are 60 minutes, some that are 30, and then these little laser calls, right? Like this is an awesome one. This is, okay, so Allison's gonna enjoy this one. This is a very woo-woo client actually of mine. And she wanted to take that woo-woo stuff and go into corporate and do leadership training and stuff like that. Actually, she's very earthy and loves to go out in nature and hug trees and, you know, eat bugs and stuff like that. But she believed that that would help and support corporate teams in bonding with each other, and it would show leadership skills and stuff like that. So we created these 1 sheets for her, and this one is the Naturally Productive and Profitable, your team's 5-step blueprint for inspiring creativity, deepening trust, and reducing stress. It's a 30-day program. Here's what they're going to get. I'll let you guys read through this later. Here's how it's going to be delivered. You're going to get a workbook for your team. We're going to have a retreat day together. And then I'm going to give them a resource book. I'll give you snacks. I'll do on-site coaching. And then I'll help you discover 5 ways to put green stuff in your office so that you can take nature back home with you. And that program was $19.97 for up to 10.
So she's going to show up with some plants for 2,000, right?
Yeah,
nice
she's going to spend a day playing out in nature with them, coaching them in these activities, and then bring back some. And we actually scheduled this bonus in there because if you sell a VIP day like that, so this is 1 day and she's getting $2,000 for it. You want to follow up with the person in 30 days to see how they did transform. What part of the transformation did they integrate into their life? And it's a great way for you to upsell, because if she goes back in 30 days and the plants are dead and people are fighting, then she's like, sounds like we need another VIP day. Or I don't have another, I'll have to put in one of her other ones. She upsold into, looks like we need to do 3 retreats over the course of a year. We need to come in
so we can sustain the momentum.
Right. She got this into being a $2,000 a month gig, you know, if she wanted. This is Maria's 90-day program, Jumpstart to Feisty. Her overall program was Fit and Feisty. I'll let you guys look through that.
And she's a trainer. So think about it now. Think of the different modalities, right? We're taking a trainer, right, and a yoga instructor, right, and a psychologist. And you see how we're translating that, like, mainstream professional title into a brand and into an outcome that's related to what the transformation is, right? Can I get a 1 in the chat? Yeah.
Perfect. So we'll let you guys, and so this is one example of mine. It's not my current programs, but it's a way that I've designed mine. I actually write mine kind of out as a letter, right? And then I've given you some examples from some other people as well. So with that, that's going to be a huge bonus for you guys being on the webinar and listening through that, right? So we'll get that to you out in email. Any questions so far on some of the content that we've done? If you'll post that in the chat, we will see if we can answer that question for you. Any questions, post them in the chat for me. And while we're doing that, so some of the texts that I get from clients who've worked through creating their transformational program, this was just sold my first product, received $297 for a PDF. She wrote out her process And this was a coach who was used to getting $5,000 for people working through her 17-week program. And she was looking for another income stream. And so I said, just sell the document without your coaching. And she's like, I can do that? And it's like, yes. And now she's, selling that $300 book again and again and again. And then that is leading to, because probably what you want to do after 2 weeks is follow up with the person and go, oh, you bought that PDF. Did you actually implement it? No. Would you like some hand holding? Sure. Great. Then they're a VIP client, or they're a VIP day client, or whatnot. And while I'm waiting on the more questions here like this is, I think this was Nicole. She got her first 2K client. Her heart is racing. This is amazing. And then the next day, she says she just sold her 6-month package, and that was a one-time payment of $3,250. I remember the first time I had somebody pay $3,000 in full, and I remember the first $20,000 in full, and I remember the $100,000 guy broke it into payments. But when you get those chunks of money, it's totally life-changing, and it's totally it's bought vacations. It's really, it's allowed me to invest in other coaches. It's allowed me to know that I've got money to pay team ongoingly. It just helps you so much to be able to really enjoy working with clients in that way too, right? So Victoria asks, you mentioned buying content. What does that look like? Let's see. So I don't know if I want to go rogue and go on a internet session right now. I can send you a couple in the follow-up email here. We'll send you a link to a couple of websites that offer private label right content. Joyce on the line here is a private client of mine. We've got some stuff from her. I don't always use the content exactly how they've given it. So with Joyce, we bought some videos on goal setting, and we didn't really like the guy's voice, but we liked the PowerPoint slides. And Joyce has such a beautiful radio voice. She does her radio show. And I just had her re-record the audio, and we'll put it on the PowerPoint, and then it will be her. But if her and I had sat down and tried to come up with 10 videos on goal setting, we probably would have, gone crazy. So I use the PLR to jumpstart my brainstorming, to jumpstart somebody else already thought of what was needed. But if you Google any word and then the word PLR, private label rights, there's a bunch of websites. You can buy articles that way. You can buy ebooks. You can buy entire courses. It's really crazy. I don't recommend you just taking them. You've got to customize them.
Consider it consider it as an outline. I wouldn't consider it to be a finished product, but it's a great starter, especially in the case of one of our clients was in the nutrition business. Mm-hmm. So there's gluten-free guys. Yeah, there's oodles of content about all these different diets, right? So sometimes you just buy a pack of the PLR and it gives you a bunch of things to talk about. Yeah. You already know how you feel about it. You don't need their stuff, but it gives you a bunch of brainstorming material. And you'd be surprised, $17 would go a long way with some of that stuff.
Yeah, totally. So if what we've been sharing here today is exciting to you, and you want a little more hand-holding when it comes to either creating that transformational package, wanting somebody to handhold you through creating the system, any of that, we're going to take you now to expandyourimpact.com/10K. And I'm going to type that in the chat. I do that in the other computer over here.
Expandyourimpact.com/10K. 10K.
Right? This is when you get there, it redirects you, so don't be shocked about that, but it redirects you to this information page on mandywhite.com. And in this program, we're going to teach you how to create and sell that $1,000 to that $10,000 package, even if you've never done this before or never charged even $100 an hour.
You are allowed to charge more. right? There's no ceiling in this.
Right. And hey, it could be $100,000 program for that matter. But if you have a 10,000, that's your easiest way to 100K. 10 clients at 10,000. That's the easiest way there. So I want to walk you through kind of what we go through in the class, right? We're going to go through all that mindset stuff about, oh, I can't do this. Nobody will pay me. It's not nobody will pay me. That I can't possibly charge that. It's who would easily be able to pay that money. And in the program, I'm going to talk to you about those markets that are willing to pay. Just like I made, the tree hugging girl, go focus on companies who can easily pay that money. With Marcela, it was, don't try to get a stay-at-home mom to look better to be a stay-at-home mom. They don't got any money. But if you help a speaker make more money, then they'll be happy to invest. So it's about you. All your mindset shit is about you asking a different, more empowering question. Okay. And then I've got to get you to think about your business differently. I've got to have you think about what is really required to change somebody's life. So besides showing these examples that we showed you today, you're going to get to see how other people have done that too. We're going to talk about 3 simple solutions to repositioning your business to get you $10,000 clients. I'm going to really push you. Again, you can create a $1,000 package, but it's just as much work to create one that's $10,000 than it is to do one for $1,000. So let's just ask for the big money here.
Yeah.
We're going to also walk through how to raise your profile and add more zeros to your income. So
to become that authority, to resonate as that expert.
Right. If you walk around like Jamie did saying that she was a virtual assistant, you're going to get charged virtual assistant rates. But if she says she's an upscale your business strategist and she has a 7-step system to help you do that, it attracts people in a much different way, and they're happy to pay the higher fees because she is showing them there is a system to get success, not just to buy more Facebook fans again. We're going to walk through positioning this. Like, do we need to do like a webinar to get the people here? Do we do it from speaking gigs? Can I just post on LinkedIn and get clients that way? Like, how do you need to position yourself? And what do you need to not be doing, right, to get these high-paying clients? And then we're going to talk to you about how to onboard people into it. You've got to have a discovery session or a sales conversation if you're going to sell $10,000 programs. You do not put these programs on your website and expect somebody to click a buy button for $10,000. It's a possibility, but it doesn't really happen.
Well, and the sales conversation is designed to help them understand their pain, understand their transformation, and then to give them comfort that in working with you through time, that they can reach those goals, right? It's not buying a dress with a coupon, slapping the credit card, right?
Right. And so from there, what we're going to do for you guys today, this is a program, it's instant access. As soon as you purchase it, you'll invest in it, you'll get access to it. Victoria devoured it the other day when she got a hold of it. We are going to run a little special here on this. The program's normally $300, but we're going to take $100 off. So if you actually click that Get Started button now, you'll notice that the shopping cart is down to $197. So how does it get any better than that?
This is an investment in your business. This is an investment in your life, right? This material is going to be carried with you for year after year after year after year. For $197, this is a lay down, must-have investment in order to make the changes in your life. And we've already gotten so much great feedback from the clients. I'm very excited to be able to offer it. It's a great launching point, and I think you included another bonus.
Yes, so we have the Client Magnet Alchemy bonus. You want to talk about that?
Yes, so as part of the mindset work and some of the stuff that we covered on the last webinar, right, there are beliefs in your world that create the outcomes that you're getting right now. And in your development of the program, Client Magic Alchemy, you were able to highlight some of the belief systems and the structures between the victim mindset, right? And moving that to sort of the coach and the creator mindset and how the limiting beliefs impact our worldview, right? you're in there, you're saying it's a 90-minute video training. I think is it one 90-minute or is it a series?
It was originally 90 minutes as a chunk, and then I think we've
broken it out.
So that people don't have to sit there for.
It's smaller chunks.
Heavy. It's also the client magnet alchemy was. In order to have any sort of marketing work, and for those who've been in my world for a while, you've seen all the magic bullets that I create. I've helped Ann make $35,000 a month on Twitter. I've helped other people make 6 figures in a day from Facebook. I've had people sell from stage. I am good at helping people match what kind of marketing they need to be doing and empower them to make it successful, right? And so from that, in understanding for myself how to get you guys to stop chasing bright, shiny objects and buying everything every new guru tells you to do, and then just like sabotaging, it was my way of helping. It's really my journey of making marketing a spiritual thing. If I understand the value that I am and the value that I provide in the world, and I can understand where somebody else is at. It's a human behavior program, right? You're understanding where somebody's at, not making them wrong for not buying now, educating them until they are ready. It gives you more power when it comes to how you spend your time marketing, and it energetically helps you make those shifts so that it's fun for you to do marketing and marketing related activities.
So this is a capstone course of mindset and marketing. By getting yourself clear on your target and your messaging, right, you're gonna have a major impact. And I think what you're gonna find, a lot more ease and understanding. And when we've taught this, like, you have mind-boggling, mind-blowing experiences from the people that go through the program. They're just like totally blown away. And that's a little bit of where we were at on the last webinar, is that just you uncover all this stuff and so much energy comes up for people. This webinar and what we've got clear today, it's been like kind of fast and sort of easy compared to the last one when we were working through a lot of those underlying beliefs about what was possible, right? And we're including that in the program today when you invest for the 197. So we'd like to invite you guys to go ahead now and join us in the program.
Yeah, expandyourimpact.com/10K. And I do want to make an offer too for those of you who know you need more than that, or you know that you're not somebody who's going to go through curriculum and do the homework. You want somebody to sit down and handhold you through it. That's a private conversation with Ron or I. So just ping me, send me an email, connect with me on LinkedIn or something, Facebook, and we'll set up a time to have a conversation about what other program options there are available. I've got services ranging from $3,000 up to the $100,000 program if you want us to do everything for you.
And sometimes this means that I need to tweak my WordPress. Sometimes I'd like you to give me permission to go be more in the world, right? I need a shoulder, right? I'm bumping up against something. I'm losing my mind. I'm freaking out because I'm celebrating because we do quarterly retreats, right? We have done for you programs. We're all about making an impact in the world, and we're inviting you today. Take the plunge, enjoy the program, expandyourimpact.com/10K. Everybody can have their own $10,000 transformative program and be the change that they want to see in the world.
Yeah. So any questions here for us? Put those in the chat for us or raise your hand and we can let you off mute. Let's see, Victoria, you're there. Would you mind, let me unmute you. Victoria, are you able to talk? This is an unsolicited ask, so are you there? Yeah, that's okay. All right, she's here. I unmuted you, so you can chat? Cool. Okay, we're not hearing you. That's okay. If anybody has any questions, Victoria's been through the program. She actually just did Devour It this week. So if you guys want to hit her up and ask how she how she enjoyed the program or whatever. Oh, she's going to try to unmute herself here. This is unscripted, so. She says, wait.
Does anybody have a package they want us to talk about? Anybody have a question they want to go through?
And you
This
might
has
end
been
up
a
with
breeze.
Yeah, you might end up with multiple packages, right? So once you get the flow, you can just create programs, transformational programs all around. And then what you sort of do is you learn to sort of synthesize everything and streamline things so they're not so complicated. And Victoria, are you there now?
Yep, I am. Thank you.
Hey, would you just share a little bit about like your experience with the program?
Yes, well, Mandy gave me this because I'm doing some other work with her, and she gave it to me on Friday, and I realized that I was kind of blocked mentally about wanting to charge more for my services. I'm a career and life coach and a recruiter, and I was charging like $100 or $150 an hour. And so I shifted in my mind and I thought, I can do this. I absolutely do this all the time. I just didn't put it together in a system like Mandy does, which is brilliant. And she brings, what I like about it is she brings information from other people's work. And I don't know all the specific people, but there's so many people out there, as you all know. And rather than have me chase all those people around and try to put something together, she already does it and did it and makes it really relatively inexpensive and effortless to pull all that together. So I set my intention to attract, I thought, how could I attract two $10,000 clients? And within an hour and a half, this person that I know who just got promoted and got a bonus and has all sorts of financial wherewithal asked me to coach her for 6 months. And then about 5 hours later, I was on the golf course with my son, and one of the folks that we were playing with, this woman went, "Oh my God, you so inspire me. I just need to talk to you. I want to call you. Give me your card and I'll give you a call when I get back to Kansas City." So that I'm not, that has not come through yet, but I'm confident that this person absolutely could afford this and wants to do the work with me, specifically with me, because of what she experienced just being with me. So all of that was just because I changed my attitude. And then all in the 4 modules, there's all these handouts and things like Mandy just showed us with the models of what you can do. And when I looked at it all, I mean, one of them is like 60 or 70 pages of really good stuff that you could really update your website with or whatever. And so just for even if you just copied the stuff she gave you and didn't even understand or process any of the learnings that are on there, that would be worth the money.
Swipe and deploy, swipe and deploy. I can't wait to celebrate with you when you get those new $10,000 clients. I applaud your just jumping right in there and getting after it.
Thank you. Well, I was afraid if I did it, you might give me a hard time. No, I'm kidding. I'm
all right, cool. Any other questions? We have some of you there still on the line. You guys are a quiet group today. Yeah. All right, well, we'll get the recording out for you. Give my team a little bit of time for that. We're hosting our live event tomorrow. We've got a couple people flying in. We're going to spend a whole day on sales conversations and helping make sure people can get the $10,000 and the $100,000 clients. And so we'll get you the recording out and get you that document that has all the samples that you guys can do. If you have any questions about the program, just give me a ring, reach out. Take care. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.